And we are back.
We're back
for another episode of Let's Talk Fish, presented by Angler's Choice Marine. I know y'all. We got a lot of good comments from the last episode, and I've got some messages saying we want to see y'all more, we want to hear y'all more, and we try to do that.
We're going to try to do that.
Yeah, our schedule sucks, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, this spring through early summer, it was one of us was gone. I think every week from pretty much February till now.
Yep, including turkey season, unfortunately, but it's part of what we do.
You killed your 2 turkeys. You can get over that already.
Yeah, well, I know, but I like to take friends and put them on turkeys too.
I never got invited. That's because you were gone, I guess.
I'd about to say, well, you wait a minute. You could have killed one behind your house. Probably a couple mornings, as a matter of fact.
I like sitting out there on the porch when the dog goes out to pee in the morning and listen to him gobble. It's pretty fun.
Well, if you don't hear him gobbling next year, you know why. Matt's been slipping around over there. Tyler, you want to go kill a turkey one day?
Y'all go
Hey, you never came and got your shotgun, by the way.
Yeah, I forgot. I got busy.
Okay. I'm storing shotguns for him. He don't know how much I'm actually charging for storage.
Yeah, like $2 a day, I think, is the going rate.
Yeah, plus interest, yeah.
Well, it's not interest. You didn't loan any money. You're just storage fee.
No. Yeah, well, okay. Yeah.
I'll trade him shells.
Unless you got it,
shells.
if you got it in like climate controlled in the air conditioning, you probably get 3
Oh,
4
no. Actually, as a matter of fact, did we put them guns upstairs in the shop?
Oh, gosh.
Maybe.
Well,
I don't know.
if your shell don't fit in there no more, you know why.
I hope you don't have one in the chamber.
Because it's been 168 degrees upstairs at the shop.
Have you got one in the chamber?
I swear, I think we did.
Up.
No, in all seriousness, y'all, is that a problem?
It could be. Yes.
I don't know.
Well, that's where they are. You saw me put them there. So just throwing that out there.
Oh, Lord.
All right. Y'all know this show is presented by Angler's Choice Marine. Actually, Brian was just
I was just up there.
Spindale location.
A couple hours ago. Yeah.
Yep.
Spindale.
And actually, I saw you post a video, too, because I
did.
liked
They've
it.
got some beauty. That orange boat they've got up there.
You like that orange one?
I like that orange and black.
Yeah, so that is I wanted to say like Clemson orange, but it's a little bit darker than that.
Yeah, it's a little bit darker than that, but man, it's sharp.
So what would you call that, like Halloween orange?
Yeah, we would go Halloween.
But it's a Z520.
Yeah, it's like a burnt orange.
Like a burnt orange. Yeah, that's good. Okay, that's a good way to put it. But beautiful boat. But yeah, if y'all are in the market for a new boat, used boat, Angler's Choice Marine, they've got them. They've got 3 locations. They got Martinsville, Virginia, which is what we call the mothership.
Yeah.
They've got Lexington, North Carolina.
Also home of ACM Tackle.
That's right. And we've also got Spindale, North Carolina, which is Brian and I's local store here, about 30 minutes from the house.
Yep.
And our guys up there, Aaron, Chad, that crew up there will get you fixed up. If you've got any problems or need anything, be sure to reach out to them. And if you're in the market for a new boat, y'all, they've got them. They've got brand new Rangers sitting there, Nitros. They got some Tritons. They got pontoons. They got John boats. Whatever you need, they got them. And if they don't, they can get it from the other stores, because I promise you one of the 3 stores has got what you're looking for. Burnt orange, that's right. Burnt orange. That's what we're going with. All right.
The cool thing about Angler's Choice is they're bass fishermen too.
Oh, 100%.
And they know the timeliness and the impatience of a bass fisherman, for lack of a better word. So when a bass fisherman breaks something, like we need it now, you know what I mean? Are you that way?
100%.
I know I'm that way.
I try not to verbally be that way, but in my mind, like, I need it right now. Yeah, I wanted it yesterday.
You know, I've always had the best service, and everybody I've ever sent to Angler's Choice is the same way. They've said the service is second to none. You know, they're there to get your business, make you happy, and keep you on the water.
Ryan's counting down the days till Michigan deer season. That's funny because apparently I'm a little behind. My buddy Smoke over here has been sending me trail cam pictures today or yesterday. Was that today or yesterday?
I got the pictures yesterday. I think I sent them to you today.
All that money you got, and you got the crappiest cameras of anybody I know.
Well, they're not mine. Joe puts them out.
You don't even have any cameras?
No, Joe does that.
Well, that's the exchange for letting him hunt, I guess, right?
Well, yeah, and he's my buddy too.
But why don't you get some Tacticams where you can get them HD pics, and because them pictures of them bucks, he's got some nice bucks. Got some nice bucks, but I just can't tell much about them. But anyway, I was actually going to text you and ask you if you had any more pictures, but I knew better.
No, that's the 2 of them.
Yeah, you send me. Maybe Joe's the one holding out.
Well, I mean, he sends me everything that looks interesting.
You think?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Trust him?
Yeah.
Okay. Good enough. People go crazy over big deer, dude. All right, I'm late. Like, I'm late to the party. I don't have any cameras out next week. And Schufer and I have an appointment when I get back from
Y'all
my
getting
cast.
started next
the
week.
19th and 20th, actually, the weekend we get back from my cast.
Yes.
We got 2 work days scheduled. We're going to go out. We're going to set some new stands. We're going to cut some lanes. We're going to trim everything. We're going to do some bush hogging. We're going to get some cameras out and get them rolling. But I usually have them rolling by July 4th, but that ain't going to happen this year. But better late than never, right? We are, I know, Jerry, I'm sorry, it's a fishing show. It's not a hunting show. I've been told that 6,827 times since we started 5 years ago. But
It's a little bit of everything show, but we mainly focus on fishing.
That's right. It's hard to focus on fishing when, we're both sucking so bad.
When we've caught like 12 fish combined this year.
I don't know how else to put it. It's funny you said that because in all seriousness, I was talking to a friend of mine the other day, and we were talking about, like when you get to the top level of any sport, like the margin difference is like 1 decision, 1 ounce.
Oh, yeah.
It's like the elites go to a lake, and your average bass fisherman might go out there and catch a couple bass one day and have a great day. And then when the elites or the BPT tour goes to a place, you're catching 50 pounds in 2 days, and that's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to all the other pros that you're competing against.
Exactly.
But I'm going out there and catching a limit every day and culling 5 times or 10 times or 12 times, and I'm getting my butt kicked. So, we had 10 killer. We had 102 limits 3 days in a row. No, 2 days in a row. And then the 50 guy. Actually, I was making fun of them because I said we had a perfect record at 10 killer of 102 elites catching a limit on day 1, 102 elites catching a limit on day 2. And the top 50 make the cut on day 3. And 49 of us caught a limit.
Oh, somebody messed it up.
I won't say his name, but
don't do that.
He was a Canadian. I love all the Canadians that fish our tour, but it was just funny.
See, so we're both in a considerable slump.
100%.
But I think it's, like, I don't say it's just because I'm fishing the BPT, but like one decision can kill you on the Bass Pro Tour. Whereas in a 5 fish limit, I feel like you can recover a little bit because you can still get
if you get a big bite.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you can still get that lucky bite.
100%.
But with us, with the every fish counts format, man, I've made the wrong decision every morning, every day this year. I like my best places in practice or the places where I thought I found the most bass, and go there, can't make it work. They've moved, can't relocate them. And by the time you do relocate them, you're 50 pounds behind, and it's hard to catch up. And it's just been a year of bad decisions for me. A lot of bad decisions.
Yep. And I don't I'm in the same boat. Like I was telling back to what I was talking about with my buddy the other day. It's like there's such a minuscule difference at this level.
Right.
In like I go out and catch 10 pounds and everybody's catching 12. You just you're so far behind the 8 ball. It's not even fun. Every decision you make is critical. And Brian said it years ago, and he and this applies more in the every fish counts format's a little different, obviously, but for most everybody out there, fishes a 5 fish format. The more decisions you can make throughout a tournament day, the better chance you have of getting one right. And
that's it. Like
I've huge dividends.
And I've always said, 1,000, one good decision can erase 1,000 bad decisions.
Right. But here's the difference, though. Bryan Thrift is saying that. So the average fisherman, and this is not a crack on anybody, can't go out there and make 1,000 or 100 or 50 or 20 or even 10 decisions during a tournament, because every decision they're making is not going to be maximizing the potential of that decision. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
So you have to be extremely versatile. It has to make sense, and everything has to be, everything has to be very calculated. But to your point, execution has to be flawless too.
That's true, but it's really amplified. Like execution, I think is amplified more in a 5 fish format like what y'all fish.
Yeah,
because you can't afford to lose that one big fish.
Right.
Like for us on the Bass Pro Tour, you lose a 5-pounder, it's not that big of a deal. Go catch 3 2-pounders and you're still a pound ahead of where you were. So like with the every fish counts format, it's like a total different mind frame. But you got to catch them. You can't quit catching them.
I'd like to fish one. I don't want to fish.
It's really fun. It is. I would say the most difficult thing about the every fish counts format is the demons you got to fight with yourself during practice. Mm-hmm. So let me lay this scenario out for you. Like you go to, let's say, I don't know, just a body of water, and you know that the offshore bite's gonna win most likely. Like your ledge fish, we'll use Kentucky Lake for example.
Lake, yeah.
Like, shout out to Andy Montgomery. He did good. A couple guys made the cut, the top 10 fishing shallow. But you knew starting practice, it's going to be one offshore on a couple of schools of bass. So every time you go to the bank and throw a frog or skip a jig under a dock or something, like you feel like, man, I'm not even trying to win.
But you could catch a big one doing that.
But at the same
time, in that format, it doesn't make sense. So I'm going to put you on the spot. So I have a question for you. So you and I have talked about this, and I think I mentioned this on the show, maybe the last show or the show before that, because you made me think about it. We have technology now with forward-facing sonar, obviously, big player.
Live sonar.
Even y'all only have
live sonar, Matt. We don't
live sonar.
FFS
whatever.
does not count. It's
Okay.
live.
Live sonar.
We've been saying that for 2 years.
Live sonar. Live sonar. Practice. Say it with me. Live sonar. Live sonar. Say it, Tyler. Live sonar.
Live sonar.
Okay, good job.
We need to make a T-shirt. Huh? We need to make a T-shirt.
Yeah, live sonar, not FFS. Live sonar. All right, we and you made me aware of this during my classic Bassmaster Classic experience this year, on talking about how it plays into your mind and how you approach practice, because you know how big of a factor that's going to be. Even though y'all could only use it on one period, Kentucky Lake was a perfect example of how much it dominated that one period, right?
Yeah, and then we've had a couple events. Toledo Bend was the same way.
Yeah.
That live sonar really dominated. Murray was
the same
example.
way.
So,
Yep. Go ahead. Well, I was going to put you on the spot about something.
Yeah, go. Let's shoot.
So I'm watching y'all's Kentucky Lake event.
Yeah.
Andy Montgomery's doing something that we've all done for 25 years.
Right.
Zach Burge was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Very similar.
Yeah, very similar.
So when you're practicing and prepping for that event, you obviously know numbers are going to be critical. Numbers of keepers are going to be critical. I got to catch them as fast as I can, scoreable bass, yada, 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 right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to focus on that. So you're one of the best marina fishermen, and you're super aware of that bite, and you're super efficient with that bite, and you've known about that bite for 20 years. Is that something you tried, or did you stay away from it because you didn't think the numbers were going to be good enough to compete?
No, I tried it, but I tried it in the wrong areas.
Okay.
So
not every marina is the same.
Right,
Sure.
and I ran away from all the fish, was what I did in that practice. So
expand on that.
So the way it worked out, and this is kind of where my decision making and what I say, I've been making a lot of bad decisions this year.
What I'm getting at is I want to know if excuse my French, if live sonar had an impact on those decisions you were making.
No, it did not. So I really like the format MLF has right now with the one period of live sonar. Like, I think that's the best blend we could possibly ever hope for with the way the technology is advancing. But going back to the point of missing the marina bite, like, I still did that the first morning of the tournament. I just ran away from all the fish. So I've got in this bad zone where I want to get away from boats and try to get away from everybody and go do my own thing. And that doesn't work in the BPT format, because all the fish that are biting are usually biting in a section or a zone of the lake. And it was like that at Kentucky Lake and Barkley. Everybody caught them on the lower end of Kentucky, and they caught them on the lower end of Barkley. And they run backwards. So on the north end.
That's confusing.
Yeah. So they caught them on the north end of Kentucky and the north end of Barkley. And I ran to the south end of Barkley and the south end of Kentucky. So I ran away from all the bass there. And that's pretty much the way this year's went. I've ran away from every bass in the lake in every tournament. But it's we're gonna get it cleaned up sometime. I got one more event this year, so hopefully we're going to get it cleaned up there.
That's what we're going to jump right into. We've talked about it a little bit.
Another thing I've noticed that I've been trying to work on this year that I noticed early on is I would paint myself in a box before I ever got to the lake. So I would get in my mind what I was going to do before practice even started.
That's not like you.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like I've got in a bad zone or a bad funk in my mentality of what I'm going to do, and I'm not just kind of flying by the seat of my pants like I used to do for my whole career. For some reason, I don't know why. I thought 18 years into it would be a good time to change it up, but that's what we've done.
No, I think you're not changing it up. It's something that. So, just to give y'all a little, and I'm not tooting our horns or anything, but I'm gonna lay it out there because Brian and I are both in a slump, and we want to touch on that tonight. And how do you get out of it? For 14 years for me, I have not missed a championship, whether it was a FLW, Forest Wood Cup, or Bassmaster Classic. Brian is at least that, if not maybe one or two more.
I haven't missed one since I started.
Okay, so he's 16 years.
About
16 years in a row.
Well, let's see. I started in 07, so 18 years. I've yet to miss a championship, but 2026, we're gonna be working the booth.
Well, I saw a comment that said, I see one from Mr. Jones. I see one from Mike talking about slumps. We're in danger of not making the Classic in Redcrest. Look, the reality of the situation, Thrift probably ain't going to make Redcrest, and I'm probably not going to make the Classic.
I'm not going to make it.
So he's got one
I
event
can win
left.
at Saginaw Bay, still not make it.
You could win and not make it?
No,
okay.
No, we way down in a hole.
I have to have 2 top 10s to have a shot.
I'm way down
with 2
there.
tournaments left. So that's the facts. But the thing about it is when you kind of get in a groove and you get accustomed to things and everything's going right and everything's great and you're making good decisions. And even when you're not making good decisions, you make another good one and it makes up for it and things like that. When things aren't going great and you've been on such a streak for such a long time, your mind starts playing some tricks on you.
It really
I have
does.
talked to Brian on the phone. I can tell you he's not the same when I talked to you before the Potomac and after the Potomac. He's not the same on the phone as he was last year at this time.
Yeah, it
my
messes
wife's
with
told
your
me
head.
the exact same thing.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get out of it, but I think it's one of them things where I don't know if you can get out of it. I think things just have to start turning around, and you gotta start rolling with
You
it.
simply have to fish your way out of it.
Yeah, that's all there is
to
to
all
it.
the people asking, and I have got a little bit. I haven't done great, but I've made, I think, the last 3 cuts. So we're starting to work our way back into it.
Yeah.
You just have to erase what happened last week, yesterday, a month ago, and you've got to keep the confidence and just keep fishing because we know that we belong where we're at. We've proved that. We have to continue to prove that, and we have to mentally focus on what's next and not what happened in the past.
And it's so easy. Like I know it's you see it all the time in the industry with professional anglers where, they and I'm sure Matt will agree to this, that heard it before, but you'll see guys, they want to figure out, like, they want to blame it on something.
They think something's wrong.
Yeah, they think something's wrong. Like,
No.
something's going on, something's wrong. This is why I'm not doing good. That's why I'm not doing good. Like, but, the blame it solely rests on us. Like, we're not doing our job. We're not making the right decisions. We're not getting it done. Like it'd be easy for me to say, "Oh, it's live sonar. That's why I'm not doing as well." But that's not the case. It's just not. So
yeah, I mean, and I see some comments already talking about, age a factor. Well, I mean, age is a factor in everything. I mean, that's a fact
and
of life.
I've thought about that too, because you look at the age we are. So a lot of these young kids, like, that are coming out of college and they're absolutely tearing it up. That's Matt and myself 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. Like, we were those same young kids 20 years ago out there, rookies on the trail, tearing it up, making top 10s, winning events in our late 20s and early 30s. And these kids are hungry. They're just like we were when we started. And all the thing they've got on their side is time right now, and they eat, sleep, breathe bass fishing. And that's where we were 20 years ago. And to say we've slowed down a little bit and not quite as motivated as we used to be, like we're still motivated, but we don't have the time and the energy to devote 100% of our lives to bass fishing like we did when we first started.
Yeah, and that's just a fact of life. Like
Right. Having kids, getting a family going.
Yeah, I'm
priorities change a little bit.
I'll be the first one to admit that in the past, well, probably 10 years of my career, which my oldest is 12, so that's probably about right.
Yeah.
I have fished less when I'm not at major events than I ever have. Now I think I've been out 6 times since the first of the year, not counting elite tournaments in practice.
Yeah, that's myself. Like I've fished 4 or 5 times at Norman, and that's been about it.
And we do have, and it makes a difference because we have kids. I say kids because they're 19, 18, 19, 20, 21 years old that literally go from lake to lake to lake to lake, and when they're in between tournaments, they fish for 7, 8, 9, 10 days in a row at a lake.
I used to do that.
Yeah, that may or may not even be on the schedule next year. So. Could we do that? Yeah, but I don't want to do that,
right?
And I owe it to my family not to do that.
Like I'm proud of these rookies and these second and third year guys that are out here kicking tail, because that's us looking in the mirror 20 years ago at ourselves, and it's good to see that coming from a new generation of anglers that have that drive.
Yep.
It seems like it's a little more pronounced now, because when Matt and I started fishing professionally, there would be, of your group of rookies, you would have 10 or 15 rookies a year maybe, and 1 or 2 would be standouts, just head and shoulders above the rest. Mm-hmm. And then it seems like now these kids are so good after fishing through college, through high school. You got a rookie class of 10 guys, 8 of them are standouts.
Oh, 100%.
It's pretty impressive.
Yep. I mean, this is the first time, maybe it was this past Classic, that it was the first time in Bassmaster history, and we can blame it on a million things, but we're going to talk about it. It's a combination of things, and technology is obviously a huge part of that. That every single rookie from the previous year made the Bassmaster Classic.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, that's and then we've had, let's see, I think we've had 3 rookies win tournaments this year.
Yeah.
Of the 7 events, we've had 3 won by rookies.
Right.
I don't know if that's ever happened in the history of Bassmaster.
I don't know either.
Yeah, I mean,
I know Jake Lawrence won at BPT. He was a rookie this year.
Yeah, he's a rookie.
I don't know about Justin Cooper. He won the first one at Conroe. I don't know if this is his first year or second year. I can't remember.
Got you.
But I mean, yeah, a lot of the young guys are dominating and winning, and I love to see that. I think it's awesome, because I look at when I first started, I was kind of, I never got pigeonholed as a technology expert, but I mean, a lot of the period when I was dominating from 2010 to 2020, 23, whenever, the last 13 years was, I figured out, I'm not going to say I figured out, but I devoted a lot of my practice to hummingbird side imaging, just idling around, finding those isolated pieces of structure. And I feel like I was one of the first guys to really pioneer that and, devote my entire practice to that. Just like these guys now are devoting their entire practice to live sonar. I was doing that 15 years ago with side imaging. And, it really let me stand out and compete at a higher level and win a lot of events. But for some reason that wasn't viewed at the same light as the live sonar, I guess, because you still couldn't see the fish. You just could see where they were living.
Yeah. Couple really good questions here. And y'all, this is a show where we're going to try to take as many questions as we can. So I'm going to periodically grab questions as I see them. But Jody Wright said, in the age of scope, can you outwork people to truly be elite? And that's a great statement, because Mike Harris touched on it in the second statement. He said, live sonar has changed the game, though. It's easier to learn that one technique and then rely on it. You can, if you're fishing a league, which the only league is now, Bassmaster Elites, that allows it 100% of the time. Now, if I was talking to a college angler and I knew for a fact that live sonar was here to stay for eternity, including the improvements they're going to make in the next 4 to 5, 6, 7 years, and there would never be any limitations on it, then I would say focus on that and forget everything else. Because from 0 to 100, and I'm talking about feet of water, 12 months out of the year, it will dominate because it will only get better, and it will be what you have to do in order to win.
Yeah, in order to compete and consistently finish
Consistently
high.
win. Now, Ryan, I'll touch on that question, and I'll let Brian touch on it too. It says, who do you think guys would do better, older veterans or young guns, if they got rid of live sonar and we went back to basic electronics? Now, when you say basic, there's people that all over the world and internet that would go crazy because everybody's going to categorize
flasher.
that differently.
Can't have nothing but a flasher.
Flashers, paper graphs, just a 2D sonar. We need mapping. What are we talking about? But let's just refer to everything but live sonar. So, this is my outlook, and then Brian, you can give me yours.
Yeah.
What you would see is you would see what you saw for years and years and years, where you would not have such a group of young anglers dominating every tournament as opposed to a more diverse top 10 every tournament.
Right.
Meaning it would level out the playing field more because you would have to be a more versatile angler, and you would have to be able to adapt to a lot of different situations with more techniques, yada, yada, yada. Can these young guys catch them without live scope? 100% they can. I know they can. And back to what we said earlier, their work ethic, they're out there on the water every day. If they don't have their live sonar, it doesn't matter. They're going to figure out how to catch them other ways because that's what they got to do to survive. Yeah. That's what they got to do to compete, and that's what they got to do to fish professionally, and that's their dream, just like it was ours. But I do think it would diversify your top-end anglers a little bit more. So you would see maybe you would see one young guy win a tournament a year, and then an old guy win a tournament, and then a middle-of-the-road guy win a tournament, as opposed to maybe 3 rookies winning 3 in a row, something like that. But as far as overall, I'm not going to say veterans would dominate, but typically in any sport, the guys with the most experience. Now, you'll always have that rookie, like Brian was that rookie. Like first year he came out. Yeah. I don't know if you won a tournament that year, but you finished second.
I finished second in my first.
Yeah, the first one he ever fished. I've seen guys come onto the scene and win a tournament their rookie year.
Oh, yeah.
Every once in a while, things like that happen, but you would not see the level of domination that you do if you took away that. But these kids would still do good.
Yeah, I think they would still excel.
No, we're talking about dominate like they are now.
No, not.
Well, I'm talking about every rookie making the classic.
Not every rookie.
3 or 4 winning tournaments a year.
Yeah, but I still think we would see them perform at a very high level, and still be a lot of them at the top because. So let me lay this out. We will never know as long as the live sonar is allowed, because you think about it, in practice they know they can use it, and they know that's what's going to win. So they focus on it.
Can they though? That might be illegal too.
What?
Using it in practice.
I'm talking about now.
Oh, now. I'm sorry.
So, but you take that very
same. Making up scenarios.
You take that very same event, and they know they can't use it. They can't use it in practice, and they practice for 2 or 3 days without live sonar, just running the bank, just covering water, just fishing hard.
Yep.
They're still gonna find fish, and they're still going to be up there and consistently perform well.
Yeah.
I mean, and then I did see the comment about you can look at the MPFL and
I was getting ready to address that.
Much answer that. I mean, we've got 3 veterans of the sport that have won over there this year.
Well, and 9 of the top 10 in the AOY over there are elite anglers, which I think there's only 20 elite anglers over there. There's 19, I think, to be exact. I think.
But you don't really have a lot of the young gun, super live sonar guys.
Tyler Williams is the only one over there that I know that's a big time scoper,
right?
Like, huge live sonar guy.
Yeah,
he fishes the elites, does very well. He's at the MPFL. He's doing so. Now I think he may have skipped a tournament or something for whatever reason, but. Regardless of that,
I think if you took that same pool of the younger anglers,
that's what I want to say. That's what would be interesting.
I still think they're going to perform at a very high level.
Yeah. So if you take let's just say the 8 of the 10 rookies on the elites this year, and you threw them in the MPFL mix along with the current veteran anglers,
like they know the deal. I feel like there's same with the Bass Pro guys.
So that would be interesting to see. And it's. Depending on what Bass decides to do next year, the votes have been tallied. It's in Bass's court. They get to make the decision, the ultimate decision. we'll see what happens. But it'll be a very interesting 2026 regardless. If we get a little bit more diversity, whether it's in the schedule or our rules or whatever it is, I think it'll be very fun to watch, and it'll be a pretty cool situation. So, all right, Keith Wood, that's a good question. Rusty, you nailed it. We just talked about that. A lot of the young guys aren't fishing the NPFL, though, so that isn't a fair comparison. Why do you think that is? Do you think that a lot of the young guys aren't fishing it because let's go back to what we said earlier. These young guys have more time on their hands than they know what to do with, obviously, because they're fishing all the time.
Why they,
so what do you think they're not fishing it because they don't allow live sonar?
I mean, logically, with the information we have available, yes, that's the reason.
I mean, I have to assume that.
Yeah, you have to assume that. But is that the case? We don't know.
Yeah.
Could it also be the entry fees at Bass?
Well, you mean at NPFL?
Well, that's what I'm saying. At Bass, you only got your what?
Yeah,
Say
y'all's entry fees.
$10,000 membership.
Yeah, they really don't have
Yeah.
a reason not to fish it unless they just don't want to travel that much. And
So
I know. Go ahead.
Well, no, in my mind, and it's maybe what you're about to say. Like at 20 years old, you're trying to make money fishing. Here's the thing about the Elite Series right now. Okay, I do love our $10,000 investment fishing for 5 times the return on our money for a 50% check. Right? I love that idea. But this is coming from an established angler like Brian and myself who has good sponsor relationships in place and things like that. Now, coming from a young angler standpoint, let's just say he doesn't have really good sponsorship relations in place at that point because he's so young in his career. So he cashes 9 checks on the Elites. That's $5,500 a check if you finish 50th in every tournament. So you're looking at $50,000. Well, minus your expenses plus the $10,000 you have to pay, you didn't make much money at all.
Yeah.
So he needs to be fishing as much as he can in order to make as much money as he can if he's wanting to do it on the water and he's not making it through the industry, right? So they should be fishing the NPFL, even though the ROI over there is not good. The entry fees are super high and the return's not good unless you top 2 or 3.
I hadn't seen the payout. But also, like, I think a reason some of them don't, and it's a reason I didn't fish more when I first started also is, I've kind of got a little bit of OCD. Everybody picks on me about the way I keep my rods and stuff. I have to focus on one set of events. Like, it's hard for me to break focus. Like,
I don't think these rookies are like you, though.
I'm just saying that this
I'm
is
the same way.
This is a special case.
Yeah,
but
you're a very special case.
I didn't even fish like I loved fishing the Toyota series, but I would find myself fishing the Northern Toyotas because that was after our FLW season had ended.
Yeah.
And I could redirect my sole focus on those events, whereas otherwise, I'm focused on this and that and this, and I couldn't make myself get straight. But
yeah, so that's a good question. I wonder why these young guys aren't diving into the NPFL like some of the veteran
and we may
anglers
see
are.
more of that next year.
Yeah, be interesting to see where it goes for sure. All right. Keith Wood said,
I would fish them if I only had to pay $10,000 to fish a major trail.
Well, that's the Elites, not NPFL.
I know, but I'm talking about it like if I could only pay, if I was only paying $10,000 at MLF.
Yeah.
But I can't. I look at our entry fees at $45,000, and then you look at NPFL entry fees.
They're
probably
$5,200 a tournament, I think. Roughly.
Yeah, I don't know how many events, but like
6.
Yeah, so you're looking at
30.
I'm looking at 70+ thousand, 80,000 a year in entry fees, and that's a little steep for me.
So to answer your question, and I think this is right on the NPFL payouts. It's over $5,000 a tournament. There's 110
couple boats,
110, 115 boats, something like that, somewhere in there.
Yeah,
they pay about 30% of the field, 35% of the field, and the last place check I think is around $7,000.
Yeah.
So you make a check top 35% of the field and you lose money.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but the elite guys that are over there, 3 of them have won one. A lot of them are doing really well and they're cashing checks. But the more influx of that elite level talent, let's say some BPT. I mean, you got to think about the BPT cuts this year too.
Oh yeah.
I got to assume that some of those guys are going to go to the NPFL.
Some of them are going to do that.
So as the competition continues to increase over there, hopefully the traction of that tour and the traction and the attraction of it.
Yeah, there's definitely a place for it. Like I'm glad we've got the NPFL
right.
now.
I would like to see them gain some sponsor dollars and improve their payouts and their ROIs for their anglers, because everybody I've talked to said they're run very well.
Yes. Everything I've heard about
weigh-ins are really
positive,
cool.
Yeah.
Drive-through weigh-ins, I mean, that's cool.
Yeah.
What's crazy is they get to fish. I mean, dude, like 5 and 5:30, some of them, like their flights.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how long some of them fish. And
See, I like that.
Well, the reason they have to space them out like that is because they have the drive-through weigh-in.
Yeah, they do the longer weigh-in.
And on day 3, you go out. It's like the guys that are in the top whatever get to fish the longest on the 3rd day.
Oh, really?
So that's kind of cool, too. So you earn your way to fish longer on the 3rd day than everybody else.
That is pretty cool.
So it is a neat format. Obviously it's a 5-fish format, but the way they run the tournaments is pretty dang cool. And they're fun to watch. They're still learning as far as their live coverage is concerned. I've watched a couple of the events this year.
Yeah, I have too.
If I was to give them,
if you're a fan of bass fishing, you've got to watch.
So tell me,
I watch all 3 lives: BPT, bass, and PFL.
So if you were going to give them any kind of constructive criticism from the live, what would you give them, Brian?
From what I've watched, I mean, I think
because they're doing it all in house. Just so you know.
Yeah, no, I think they're doing a good job with it. It's enjoyable to watch. Commentators are good. I would say that the biggest thing I've saw is where they seem to have a lot of signal issues with the cameras.
I've noticed that.
Like that's probably the big. And I'm sure they've got to know that. I'm sure they're working on that, and that's only going to improve with time. So that would be
overall, I think it's pretty good. I would like to see, because I watched the Eufaula tournament a lot, and I watched the Douglas event a lot. Obviously, my roommate ended up winning that one. But I would like to see more fish catches, because they're there. It's just a matter of clipping them and showing them. We know when they go to somebody, like I was watching people fish for a long time. Now, when Bass and BPT, when they go over to Bryan Thrift, something's getting ready to happen. Yeah. We don't know exactly when, but something's getting ready to happen, right? There's not a lot of dead fishing time.
Right. And see, I'm kind of the opposite of that, because I know that's real.
Well, no, it is, but that's not what gets your numbers and people watching.
No, but I mean,
that's what kills the sport.
No, not it kills the sport for somebody that doesn't follow fishing and doesn't enjoy fishing.
Well, no, that doesn't follow it and understand it.
Well,
we're trying to catch new people. We're trying to attract people. We're trying to grow the sport.
The sport's big enough.
Well, I know, but wait a minute now. If you're scrolling through Fox Sports, ESPN2, whatever it is, CBS, NBC, whatever, you know, and you see a fishing show pop up. And this should be the same for live coverage, because it's doable. Bass does it, and BPT does it. Now, I'm not expecting.
Well, that's what a show's for. So let's back up now, because you're talking about 2 different things. You're talking about an 8-hour live stream versus a hour-long, 30-minute long show.
Well, let me finish.
That's going to be condensed down.
I was getting at that. Let me finish. When they scroll to you on the TV show, you're immediately catching one.
Right.
All right.
It's the same with the live feed.
Well, no, Bass and BPT is not exactly the same.
It's pretty close.
I have watched you make, not you necessarily, but
whoever. You might see somebody make 3 casts before they catch one.
Sometimes 6 or 7. But I don't want to scroll over to Tyler over here and watch him set the hook. Like, I'm not saying that. I just want to see a little bit more action on that side of things. So what I'm saying is, I have watched some of this coverage, and I've watched somebody fish for 10 minutes, catch one.
I got an easy answer for that.
And go over to somebody else for 10 minutes and not catch one, and go over to somebody else for 10 minutes and not catch one. Like, I don't want to see that. Now, I think there's a meet in the middle.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. Well, maybe this is the reason.
Okay.
They can't use live sonar. And fishing has changed in the last 5 years.
They're not catching enough.
Exactly.
Is that what you're saying?
They're not catching them as frequently.
It's fishing in the raw. It's the way it originally started.
Okay. Maybe that's what it is.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go back to a question
because
I saw.
that was my thoughts. And I know I've had this conversation with a lot of people since the popularity of live sonars really taken off the last 5 years. Is, oh man, that's going to make bait fishing a lot better. Like, the fish on the bank aren't going to be pressured.
That's a lie.
Man, I think they all get caught with live sonar
Every
before they
dang
go
one
to the
of 'em,
bank,
dude.
so they don't ever go to the bank anymore.
There's probably less fish on the bank. Yeah, they're
I
scared
think
to
there
death
is
to get up
less
there.
fish on the bank now.
Keith wanting to know, do you guys see scoping going dead at any point? It kind of touches on what you just talking about, but like how fish seem to get used to seeing certain hot baits every year or so, like the A-rig, how spinner baits shine every 3 to 4 years, etc. Well,
I was reading comments. Say that again. You know I lose my train of thought.
I didn't hear him
you
either,
see
Brian.
scope-
We just talked about me focusing on one
Do
thing
you
at a
see-
time. I was focused
do
on
you
reading
see-
comments.
Yeah, Allison, he absolutely cannot fish 2 tours. That's out.
She knows this.
Do you guys see scoping, in quotes, live sonar going dead at any point? Meaning fish seem to get too used to seeing certain baits, like A-rig, spinner bait, shine every 3 to 4 years.
I'm not going to say I see it going dead,
because
but I see it
going to
get,
change and get better.
I see
anyway.
it getting tougher.
You mean just catching one?
Right, like I see it.
Well, that's
you know,
already happened.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like when it with the, you know, the early stages of live sonar, guys were, you know, if you see one, you throw over there and catch it, and then the next year you see 4, you throw over there and catch 3. The next year you see 10, you throw over there and catch 6, and now you might see 50 and get 5 of them to bite. So it's definitely changing. I think it's definitely putting pressure on fish, and you're having to actually hunt for fish that are feeding with it versus just seeing one and throwing over there and catching them now.
Yeah, that's right, Keith. The answer to that question when I was talking about the MPFL and the live coverage, and no, it's not. It's not just like I want to see fishing too, but I want to see a little bit more fish catching also. Not constant, obviously. I'm out on that. But
See, I want to see people going through the trials and tribulations and the struggles I do on the water.
You mix that in, right? You mix that in.
I want to see the guy flipping that beautiful bush and can't get a bite like me. That's real.
Well, I saw a lot of that in the live coverage that you follow in the NFL.
So you might be able to contribute some of it to the last events. Everything's been like 15 foot out the banks too.
Yeah,
100%.
exactly.
But better production, better producers. That's right, Keith. That is definitely the answer when it comes to live coverage on how. Well, when we got McCoy Fisher here, he could probably help us with the live coverage issues. Like
I'm sure he
McCoy.
could.
Let me just ask you a question. Put you on the spot. Does that microphone over at work, Tyler?
That one.
Yeah.
Step
It
up
does
to the
now.
mic, McCoy.
Oh, it's live now. So
Do
when you're
a mic
watching-
check for us, McCoy.
Check.
You've done a ton of videography work, editing, and producing. When it comes to production, kind of reset your mind to live coverage when you're watching live coverage, right? And what I was talking about is watching a guy fish for 10 minutes and not catching one, and then leaving him, he never caught one, then going to another guy for 10 minutes and him not catching one, and another guy for 10 minutes and him not catching one. Now, to me, I need to find a happy medium there to where at least I go to you and you catch one in 3 casts, and then I go to Brian, maybe he fishes for 5 minutes and doesn't. Then I go to Tyler, he catches one in 2 or 3 casts. And what I'm asking, what's your take on that, and how do you what would you do from a live production standpoint to make it as engaging as you possibly could?
Like for MPFL, what would I do as
Any
as
league.
MPFL?
I know what Bass
I know
and the
what we
BPT
do.
I don't know a lot of the behind the scenes, but I know Bass has it down to a science, and I'm sure MLF does as well. Just like they're able to roll right into it. Like
Yeah.
you hear when I'm
The-
doing the
there's
live.
one-
But isn't that more entertaining?
There's
Yeah,
one
it is.
solution,
Okay.
Matt.
But did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
The one
Yes.
league's definitely it gets boring. It's all about
Yeah.
attention.
So
Yep.
the only
Keeping your
solution
attention.
is that
Engagement.
Right.
Is-
You have to keep them hooked. You
Yeah,
have to keep
exactly.
them hooked.
So the solution is the leagues need to spend more money and put more cameras on the water.
No, they just need to pull the catches and show them more.
Well, logically, if you've got
Yeah, I mean, if you're
6
somewhere where you're
cameras on
catching
the
5 a
water,
day,
yeah,
that's
if
different.
you've got 6 cameras on the water following guys that are getting 7 to 8 bites a day, you're going to have a lot of downtime.
Well, now wait a minute.
If you got 20 cameers on the
no, I
water,
100% agree with that.
you're going to get more fish.
But that
catches.
takes money, which nobody apparently has anymore. So, like Canterbury, for example, at Douglas, dude, after tournament, he shows up at where are we at? 10 killer after he wins Douglas. He's like, dude, that last day I caught like 45 fish flipping.
Yeah.
I think I saw 1 or 2.
Right.
Unless it was a rerun after the end of the day.
Well,
So-
and you got to think.
and he won the tournament.
Well, you got to think about this
And
too.
they don't make a TV show, might I remind you.
Well, you got to think about this. Those cameramen are freaking troopers. They're out there on the water.
There's one right there.
They're on
I've
the
done a
water
handful of
for
times.
8 to 10 hours a day, standing up on the back deck, holding this 30-pound camera over their shoulder.
They don't get paid enough.
In the summer, it's hot. They're sweating. They got to get them. I mean, you might miss a fish catch, getting a drink of water or something like. You can't be mad about that.
No, yes, I can.
It seems like it happens to me every time I set the camera down.
Exactly.
They
That's
set
what
the-
I'm saying.
Yeah, but
Every
like
time.
you set it down, but it's facing the front deck, ain't it?
Yeah,
Try to be.
It is. Yeah,
Try to
but
be.
Sometimes it's tough.
He's done a little bit of that. I don't know if
Oh,
you know
yeah.
that for Bassmaster.
Yeah.
So he's running the camera, and I'm like, dude, I don't know how y'all do it. Like,
I
I mean,
don't
mad
either.
respect to camera guys because I couldn't
Especially
imagine
St.
being
Lawrence.
out on
Yeah.
Lake Erie in 5-footers and having to do that for
Yeah,
9
that'd be
hours, 8
terrible.
hours, or whatever.
Terrible. I don't even think about that.
And then obviously, if it's your personal equipment, you have to take that into consideration when you're getting into rough water and things like that. But
Yeah.
But they've asked you several times, and you've gone out there and done it.
Yep.
Where all have you done it? How many times have you done it? 4 or 5?
I think 4. I did an open last year at Leech. I did Pickwick, Harris Chain,
You
and
hadn't
then
done it on
Sabine. Sabine was definitely
So-
the worst one.
Just because of the heat?
Just no fish.
Okay.
It just felt like we caught like barely any fish. Like I was filming dogs the last day at the Sabine with Justin Hamner. That got the most coverage was dogs.
Interesting. The dogs.
Yeah,
Oh, I saw that actually. That was
Dogs
good. You
always,
did good, McCoy.
dogs
That's good
always
stuff.
get a lot of
he wanted to
coverage.
jump in the boat.
The other thing, I'm gonna bring this up too, in defense of the cameramen, when they get like and I don't know if this even exists, but they should have like bonuses. Like we have a big fish bonus. Like, I mean,
We need, like-
the kid that was with me at the St. John's when he got that frog blow up and it ended up being
Brandon,
entered into
yeah.
the top water blow ups of the year, whatever,
Yeah.
Bassies.
So
Didn't
what's
win.
those awards? Like the ESPYs award?
Bassies.
Bassies. Yeah.
The Bassies.
Bassies.
They're not real, but you know,
Yeah, I know.
just for sake of
I know.
just for fun.
I'm
but
sure-
my point is, those camera guys, as hard as they work, Bass and Major League Fishing don't want to hear
Yeah.
this, but they should get bonuses for certain things like that because it incentivizes them.
They should at least get a Calcutta started amongst
Yeah,
themselves.
they're getting paid a flat rate, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be cool too. Y'all get a side bet going where you like to gamble anyway.
They should do like a best shot of the tournament.
Yeah, best shot of the tournament. Yeah. But Jake always gets whoever's in first place, so he already has an edge. So you have to give him like a handicap. Like if he's
Right.
with the guy that's leading, then he obviously technically should have a better shot at capturing something
Most
great.
of the time, yeah.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
But like the dog deal, or you get a picture, you get a shot of somebody falling off the boat, or something like that. Yeah, I'm just saying,
That one
like,
was funny, yeah.
yeah, I'm just saying, like, I mean, dude, we could. I mean, you got stuff, you know, from Scott Martin over the years. I mean, you could make millions off of, but nobody will let me have it and release it. No, I'm kidding. McCoy's laughing because he
Lordy.
knows it's true. We even got some Canterbury footage that we could
Plead
play
the
with a
fifth.
little bit. No, in all seriousness, I think overall that there's always room for improvement from a coverage standpoint. Our goal as professional anglers and organizations and the producers and the videographers is to help grow the sport and engage people and entertain, because that's the only way we actually make money,
Right,
for
yeah.
our industry. So it's just hard to figure out exactly where you have to be to truly entertain when it comes to fishing, right?
Right.
Like, because most people are like, he's fishing. How entertaining can it really be? But if you do it like we do, we love watching it.
Right.
And like Brian says, he wants to kind of get in their minds and watch how they, you know,
Yeah.
face adversity and things like that. But I think the
Yeah,
average
I need to watch
consumer-
somebody not catching anything and see how they start
Change
catching them,
and things like
so I
that.
can apply it to myself this year.
Yeah. Well, and that's important too.
That's
So-
the slump buster we're looking for, man.
Well, to touch on that, like one of the things that, and all the commentators in all the leagues are really good at this, is not talking over an angler. Like, let's just
Yeah.
say you catch one and you sit down and you're re-rigging. I want to hear everything he's got to say
Right?
at that
Yeah,
moment.
you want to hear him explain the process.
I
and
definitely
things
don't want
like-
to see the cameras leave him and go to somebody else. I want to finish the conversation there, and then we can do
Right.
whatever.
And I think all the leagues do a really good job about that. Like they've kind of noticed that that's what the viewers want to see. Like they want to hear what's going on in the angler's mind. And you know, when they have dead air from the anglers, that's when the commentators fill in and cover that void. And I think they all do great with that.
Yeah, Ryan, that's a good point. It said, how about just mount a camera on every boat, have people back on shore controlling the camera footage? You can, I mean, now we got guys like, I think,
You can run live stream,
Matt
yeah.
Robertson, maybe Logan Parks. They're running like Starlink on their boats and things like that where they're live streaming to their own channels, which I don't blame them. Like, if you're going to do that, you might as well use it to your own benefit. And not,
Right.
I mean, nothing against Bass or BPT, but you might as well
No.
use it to grow your brand. And it's going to grow Bass's brand in return anyway, right?
Right.
So, but we have guys doing that already. It seems like they're getting quite a few views on that stuff too.
So-
Oh, I would imagine that would be huge. And I think, some guys tried that with MLF, and then they didn't. They might have allowed it a couple events and told us we couldn't do it or something.
Here's another idea. We all have to run cameras. Y'all have to run
Right.
cameras, right? Dude, if you would simply and maybe kick them a little bonus, like $50 for a clip, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like if you caught a 7-pounder that day,
Right.
you didn't have a cameraman. Happens all the time, right?
Oh, yeah.
People catch giants, crazy things happen. I fall out the boat, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Happens every tournament. We've got 102 guys. Y'all got 65 guys.
Right.
NPFL has 110 guys. We got these crazy clips on our GoPros. Now, obviously, we want to use them for our stuff too.
Yeah.
But a lot of guys don't even use them at all, and I'm guilty
No.
of that a lot of times,
No,
right?
I'm the same way.
So
My GoPro.
the
like,
organizations should get like somehow communicate with the anglers and get these clips or these SD cards from them in order to create these, whether it's blooper reels,
Yeah.
whether it's highlights, bonus highlights, maybe it's a paid thing. You go on YouTube and you get to see Tyler fell in the lake, McCoy dropped a fish out of the boat, Thrift lost a 10-pounder.
Yeah.
Matt got a hook in his leg. I mean, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
it was just a
See,
just
I
a
think
thought.
they ought to go. Like, I wish the leagues would set up live cameras on everybody's boat and stream everybody's boat. So
Like a Twitch stream where you can go select
Right.
who your favorite angler is
Yeah.
and watch them all day.
right, you could choose who you want to do. I mean, and I feel like you could monetize that. Like, you could sell a subscription to it.
1,000% you could.
Like, I think that
1,000%.
would be great. Because guys are going to want to. You want to see what everybody's doing.
Yeah.
Like especially in the BPT format, like I could see that being very popular because, we've got 65 guys on the water, 66, and they've got 6 cameras the first couple of days, and you've always got guys that start out, don't catch anything, and then all of a sudden, second period, they catch 50 pounds in 35, 40 minutes. If you were live streaming that, as soon as a guy got hot, that's where your viewership's going to go.
Yeah.
As soon as
Yeah.
they start catching them.
Yeah, Daniel, I didn't know that, but it said NPFL, not sure it was paid for. I'm sure it wasn't, but they got the shots from the winner's GoPro from Eufaula. Excuse me. So, oh God, talking about Matt Robertson with live cameras on all boats would be dangerous. Matt Robertson hanging off the side. That may actually happen because he was live at the last several tournaments. He runs a live camera, and he's live on his YouTube channel, I think, isn't he?
Yeah.
McCoy?
Yeah.
So, but, well, Daniel, to be honest with you, man, I used to complain about that. We still have a few of the veterans that complain about
Yeah, but that's not
locations.
that big of a deal.
I don't think that's a big deal anymore. I think that's overrated.
Yeah.
He said, I doubt the anglers would want that, right? Just giving locations, baits, etc. away. I don't care how many, especially on a rear deck GoPro or DJI camera or whatever it is.
Right, it's gonna be-
You ain't going to see the bait if they don't want you to see the bait. And you sure as heck ain't going to be able to zoom in and tell exactly what it
Yeah.
is. I've seen that a million times, right?
And if there's people out there that's going to try to poach you off what they see on your live, that's pretty terrible
Yeah, I
anyway.
was gonna say it would
hopefully that
maybe
wouldn't
create an
happen.
issue like that.
People
just come out and mess you up.
Well, now if somebody did that, then
Right.
that's a little bit different.
Like, 'cause
if
they
they
could come to you
purposely
live.
tried to be there the next morning or something.
Yeah.
that's rare. It's happened before, but that's rare. Now in that situation, that would be bad.
Yeah.
That happened.
Well, I know we've
Anthony
got rules.
Gagliardi in a Forest Wood Cup one time. You remember that?
Yeah,
I don't know if
remember
that guy was there because he saw him
Right.
catching him there, but he was there.
I
and he
know
made a
for
scene.
us, and I'm sure it's bass alike, is we have, under the no information policy, once the event, once practice begins, we're not allowed to view and study social media from other anglers on the tour. So like, say me and Matt were fishing together, and say we're both on the Bass Pro Tour. Matt catches a 12-pounder in practice and posts a video about it, about how he caught it, all excited, you know. Like, it would be against the rules for me to watch that video and study what he was using and try to gain an advantage off of his video.
If you see the video like randomly in your feed and you see me catch a big one, that's one thing. But if you sit there and you analyze that video in order to gain a competitive advantage, that's when you break a rule.
Right.
Daniel,
So
you're
Bass
right.
has the same rule.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
We can. It doesn't say we can or can't. It says we can't do it to gain a competitive advantage.
Right.
So if I see you catch one and I zoom in on your lure,
Yeah,
or try
like,
to figure
oh,
out
that's
your
a- what
location,
color
right?
green
and then,
worm
and then
is
I go
that?
out there to make an adjustment, and then I broke a rule. Daniel, you're right. Money talks for sure, 100%. I'm just trying to think of always thinking of ways to try to bring in more money and
Yeah.
engage more people and grow the sport. So
Exactly. I mean, that's what we're all setting out to do. I mean, that's our number one job, is to sell product and, you know, make the general public aware of what's working for us.
could a Ranger outrun a drone? In this day and age,
I've seen some of them drones get after.
McCoy knows what's the fastest drones out there now.
Some of those FPV drones can go like 90 plus.
90? Well, then it ain't. They ain't
But
gonna
like
outrun
the
that.
normal
Ranger
drones,
ain't outrunning
like
that.
45.
Well, I
Oh
can
yeah,
outrun
we
that.
got we could smoke that.
Yeah,
I will say, and this is nothing against Ranger, it's just they were the easiest to get a good shot of because they start slower.
well, I mean that depends on which one you're filming.
Some of those boats just take off.
Some people don't know how to push the pedal down.
And some
either.
people don't carry as much tackle as Brian does.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's
I
right.
carry a
Mike
lot of-
Harris, you
lot of
said it.
tackle.
You said it. That comment needs to be on a T-shirt.
Yeah, profit is not a dirty word.
Yeah. Real quick, we were gonna talk about on the water etiquette a little bit. We've done that before, but just because our buddy Tyler over here had a issue, but we can talk about that next
Another
time
time.
since it's
There you
8
go.
o'clock.
I got something for you that it goes to this show
Okay. Go
that I
ahead,
heard
Tyler.
on a podcast, and I want to hear y'all's takes on it.
Okay. Whose podcast you hear it on?
I don't remember.
Well,
I
I
listen to
need-
too many
I need to know who
podcasts.
you're cheating on us with.
I listen to too many different podcasts, man.
You don't know where you heard it?
No.
You listen to that many? You don't even know where you heard it?
Yes.
Is it fishing related?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's from an angler.
An angler?
And-
Wait, and you still don't know who it is?
No, I don't remember. This was last week.
I think he's lying.
I've done a lot of
right?
stuff since last week. But,
McCoy said, yep.
but anyway, this angler stated that himself and he thinks a lot of others are having slumps because they're trying to be too diverse this year, trying to do too many different techniques instead of sticking to their strengths.
I think there's some truth to that, and that applies in some situations for sure.
A little bit of truth to that.
I think there's a lot of truth to that.
I mean, it's very, like we said earlier, it's very mental.
Yeah.
It's extremely mental. And
But it's also, you look back, like, you know, the thing about bass fishing is, it's graduated success and, you know, doing well and, you know, cashing checks is a good thing. But, you know, winning is what's on our minds. Like Matt and myself, we want to win. And that eliminates a lot of techniques right there in practice. And I need to change that thought process. Like, you know, sometimes you got to know when to lay up. You got to know when to try to get a check.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of times, and that's the way I've always fished my whole career, is like, hey, you know, this ain't working. We got to try to get paid and pay some bills. And, you know, I don't want to say I've got lazy, but I've got comfortable in not worrying about that and fishing for what I think I need to do to try to win. And I need to get back to, you know, hey, this is the situation. We need to take what we got and make the best of it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that equates into you can still turn that into
You'd
a
be
tough.
surprised sometimes, wouldn't
Yeah,
you?
you can turn that into a top 10 and even contend for a win, or may even win. How many? I mean, there's so many times in events you see guys that win or have a top 10 finish, and they're doing their interviews. You're like, man, I only got a couple bites in practice. This was all I had going, and they turn it into a win or a top 10 finish.
Most of the top 10s, more than half of them, surprised me.
Right, exactly. And that's the way throughout my career. I don't think I've ever, maybe one tournament in my life, did I see after practice that I'm going to win this tournament. I might have said that one time in my life.
Yeah.
And that was probably Eufaula in 15. I'm pretty sure I was going to win after the second day of practice.
Yeah. Mr. Jones, we're waiting for you to win the lottery then. He said he's going to win the lottery and he's going to buy bass and build teams, and he's going to have contracts, trades, and free agency.
Heck yeah.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. All right, it is time to wrap it up. We do have a trivia giveaway for all those that have joined. We got, looks like
Courtesy of Angler's
117,
Choice
120
Marine.
people. It is sponsored by Angler's Choice Marine. It's going to be one of these heavy-duty weigh-in bags. And just so y'all know, I read the comments on our YouTube channel.
I'm reading the comments
and then
now.
I relay them to. No, the comments on the. Never mind. Not the live comments. It's over his head.
I didn't even
y'all.
know we had more comments.
And
These are the one that matters.
he responded to the feedback, though. I told Brian, I said, we had a comment, 2 comments actually, said they love the show, but they really don't want to hear somebody chewing on a Zot while they're talking during the live feed. Because when they're listening to it in their truck and driving, then it sounds. And
Sounds like this.
when I read that comment, I'm like, dude, I've experienced that exact same thing with another podcast that I listened to on somebody that was chewing gum for like 2 or 3 episodes in a row, and they actually got. We got constructively criticized.
Yeah.
They got absolutely slammed by like 50 people, but it's a lot bigger podcast. Yada yada yada.
I take criticism.
Brian
well.
did not enter. He did not eat a Zot the entire.
No, I had
podcast.
McCoy set the Zots out of arm's reach.
Out of his
They're
reach.
way
McCoy ate all the
He's over
Zots.
here eating all the Zots while we're over here starving to death.
But I mean, that's like, I'm not ashamed if I do something people don't like. And
no, I was praising you for it. Like
I'm gonna try to do better.
it's that's things that we do that we don't even notice until
That's why my
somebody
wife
says.
loves me. If I do something she doesn't like, she tells me and I listen.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I
yeah.
do.
You don't ever do anything she don't like.
That's
you do.
true.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
It's rare. It's rare.
But we sometimes we do things. Point is that we don't even know, until somebody comes out and says it. So we do appreciate all the feedback, good and bad.
Yes.
And we appreciate everybody that's tuned in and listened and enjoying the show, especially live. Enjoy the questions. We always try to get to as many as we can. I know we always miss a
We've
good
got a
amount.
terrible storm right now.
Well, it's an awful storm outside, so I'm thankful that the feed's gone this
I was
long.
going to
but
say, I'm impressed with
it's
our
ripping
feed.
outside
Yeah,
right
I'm
now.
impressed with our feed.
Raining
Yeah.
sideways, winds blowing, and it's been thunder and lightning. Don't even know if y'all can hear that, but it's getting pretty nasty here in Shelby, North Carolina. All right, trivia question time.
Lay it on us,
You
Matt.
remember the trivia question?
I remember the question. Don't know that I remember the answer. Let me look at it.
That's the answer right there.
Okay.
Okay.
I know the answer. And the first correct answer we see scroll across the feed is who wins.
McCoy's up. How many Zots did you eat,
Oh,
dude?
my God.
He's over. I hear something.
Well,
going,
we don't have to worry about Zots on camera anymore because there are none. They're
yeah,
gone.
well, he's over there picking up his wrappers. At least he's cleaning up his trash.
That's
I'm
true.
like, what's that sound?
That is true.
Anyway, the winner of tonight's trivia question gets a heavy-duty Angler's Choice weigh-in bag you see here on the table. Can they even see that? Can they see that now?
Let's hold it up
Pull
for
it
the
back.
viewers.
Pull it back.
Yeah,
There it is.
There
it
you
is.
go.
Angler's Choice.
Along with the Angler's Choice hat. So, first question comes across our feed, like Brian says. Look,
We determine the winner.
is El Champion. Here we go. All right, I need to know. So, Brian and I, bottom line, we've sucked this year. We have fished a total of 15 tournaments. This is
I don't like that word. We hadn't sucked. We've had tough
We
years.
made bad decisions.
Bad decisions.
Well, we've sucked. I didn't say we suck. We just have sucked
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah. Okay. Either way. We've made a lot of bad decisions.
Yeah, there you go. We fished 15 tournaments
Combined. The two of us.
between, and that includes Red Crest for him and the Classic for me,
Right.
which we will probably not be a part of next year.
You still got a chance, though. So there's hope.
We'll be there
There's
regardless, though. The worst case scenario, we get to see all y'all smiling faces. Anybody that gets to attend the Red
Exactly.
Crest or the Classic. Classic's in Knoxville next year. Where's next year's Red Crest?
I don't know if it's been announced yet.
Has it out? Announced
I'm not. I don't think it has.
Okay.
Don't
Okay.
think so.
All right. So
I could be wrong.
it'll be a surprise. Probably be at Moss Lake.
Probably back at Norman.
Yes.
Oh God!
If
If it is, I'm going to be there working, but I ain't going to be happy. So
It's not our average finish, Ryan. He guessed 62nd place. We fished 15 tournaments. How many checks total have Brian
Combined.
and I made
How many checks
out of
have we
15
gotten
tournaments. It
together?
ain't zero. It could be. It
I
could
mean, that
very
ain't
well be.
shots
but
fired.
It ain't zero. Shots fired by J-Man.
Golly, we said we've had tough years. They believe it.
Woo-wee.
Oh,
Yep,
I see
they
it.
got
one.
I see it.
You got Erica Blanton.
Erica Blanton.
Erica Blanton. Barely edged you out, Jerry Glenn.
Yep.
Erica
Congratulations,
Blanton is
Erica
El
Blanton.
Champion. It is a whopping 6 checks.
In 15 events
In 15
between the
events.
two of us. That's terrible.
That's not good.
That's terrible.
Not good at all. We're going to try to make it, let's see, I have 2 events left. That's
I
3
got
more.
one left.
We're going to try to make it 9 of 18. That'd be 50%.
That'd be doable.
So if we can get
That'd be-
9, if we
yeah.
can get 9 of 18,
Yeah.
that'd be 50%.
The only positive I got is my one of my 2 checks was a top 10. That's the only good thing I
But
got
it's
going
positive.
this year.
Y'all's top 10's loaded up with good money too. So mine are not top 10s.
You're coming though. You're due.
Yeah, better hurry up. We might have to go to Moss Lake try to get a top 10 out of 20 boats.
I was just
on a Thursday
thinking
night.
that. We
Think
probably,
we get a top 10 out of
scratch
20,
the top
out
10.
of 20 boats? What do you think,
Or
McCoy?
either maybe
McCoy
only
tells me I suck every week, dude.
Maybe only
once
9
you say,
boats
you
was-
text me something one day, like a couple weeks ago, you're like, oh, you said something smart the other night when you was at the house. Said, good thing this ain't like you're fishing, or I don't know. You said something. He always.
maybe we'll get there Thursday night and there'll only be 9 boats and then we'll guarantee the top 10.
Find a tournament that's only got 9 boats.
Yep.
Or we can get us a top 10.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. That's positive thinking. I like that.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
All right. Ryan, keep trucking, buddy. We do appreciate the support. Ryan's an OG. We
Yeah.
got a lot of OGs on here. We
do.
Wendell, I'd love to come to Moss Thursday. I'm actually getting ready to get me a sticker for the new year because it just reset.
Yeah, I got
July
to get mine
1st.
too.
I'm glad you said that.
And you got to get yours too.
Yeah.
And try to get out there for a Moss Lake tournament here in the
We
next couple
gotta
weeks.
do that.
I'll
We
be at the
hadn't
beach though. I'm leaving for the beach in the morning, so
Yeah. And then next week we've got ICAST.
that's right.
Yep.
I got an
No,
idea.
Week after next.
Yeah, week after
Week
next.
after
Week
next.
after. So maybe we could do it next week.
Possibly.
Possibly.
Maybe we could. Yeah.
Or you might still be at the beach.
No, I'll be back Sunday night.
All right. Maybe.
Yep.
We'll see where we're at.
All right. So Erica
That may
Blanton.
be just the thing we need to get out of our slump.
Yeah. We'll go out there and get our teeth kicked in. That'll make us feel good.
Can't be scared of that, Matt. That's
fish
what
by
I've been
myself,
living
so
on
come on.
here, scared. We can't live scared
That's
no
a good
more.
point.
I ain't promising anything, no, McCoy.
I've
Did
cashed
you-
a couple
you-
checks in my last couple tournaments. I just don't want
I
you
know.
to drag me back down.
Oh, man.
Hey, that's the first time in my life I've been
That's
able to.
cold.
I've been able to get him from
That's
the other
cold.
side.
I mean,
usually he's on the upside.
I was thinking it, but I wasn't going to say it.
That may be the coldest thing you've ever
I
said to me.
apologize. That was mean.
I mean, see, that's the way bass fishing is. It don't matter what you've done for the last 18 years of your professional career.
That's very true.
One bad year,
Yep.
everybody wants to crack on you.
Well, I mean, if I had like won the last 4 tournaments, I'd have never said that. But I'm nowhere close to having a good year, so I feel like if anybody
Well,
can
it
say
wouldn't
it,
matter if you had. It's still cold. I
I'm
mean, you
sorry,
can't kick a
Brian.
man when he's down.
I'm sorry. I feel bad. I'm not even able to sleep tonight.
I really don't feel bad. Like I'm glad I'm of the mind frame. I can joke about it. You know, me and my wife were talking about
You
this.
have to, right?
You
Like,
have
there's
to.
no-
But I mean, you've got to take the bad with the good. You know, we've both been fortunate to make long careers out of this bass fishing game that we love. And you know, you're gonna have a down year. You can't let it eat you up and let it control you and consume you. You've just got to keep going with the flow, and you got to have fun with the bad times just like you do with the good times. That's the way I see it.
Yep. Amen to that. All right, we got to wrap it up, y'all.
Did you make sure you told Erica?
Yeah,
on how
Erica
to-
Blanton, send us your shipping information to our Facebook message. Message us on our Facebook page, the Let's Talk Fish Facebook page, with your shipping info, and we'll get that hat and heavy duty weigh-in bag from Angler's Choice Marine out to you as soon as possible. Gone the rest of the week. Back next week. Don't see why we possibly couldn't shoot. Hey, McCoy, we're supposed to be shooting next Tuesday, aren't we? Is that the 8th? Yep.
Hey, that's my birthday.
Yeah. So we may. Is that your birthday?
July 8th. My birthday.
Well, we may not do 50 yet.
Huh?
What?
What? Did you just say 50th?
47.
What?
6.
Yes.
I'm about to say it ain't 5. Now you're at
I'm
least 2 or 3.
45 right now. so
Okay,
I'll
you'll be 46. Gotcha. God, you're only 2 years older than me.
Exactly.
I was thinking you was like 3 or 4.
You got
So
way more gray
next
hair than
Tuesday's
me.
Thrift's birthday, we'll decide whether we'll be here or not. So
We got to be here.
well,
I'll
okay,
be here.
all right, good enough. Good enough.
We'll
We'll shoot
that's
for
my
a show
birthday.
next
Matt
Tuesday.
should bring Brian a little birthday cake. for the
Exactly.
show.
I
Should I?
want a birthday cake, and y'all
I mean,
want you to sing me
y'all
happy
are the
birthday.
producers and editors and stuff. Why don't y'all do that?
You're
Why-
closer to the cake store.
Because
There's an Ingles beside the studio right here.
Yeah, you
co-host
pass it,
should do
co-host.
it. Like, that's what I think Matt should sing me happy birthday. I'm going to be upset if he don't.
Since I cut you down so bad tonight,
Exactly.
I might actually have to bring you.
Exactly.
I'm gonna bring him one cupcake with a big 50 on it with candles. What? What are friends for?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we got to get out of here. It's 8:13. It's storming like crazy. I don't know what's fixing to happen outside.
And
I don't
as bad
think
as it
I hadn't
was
heard any
10 minutes
sirens.
ago.
And so my oldest son, Wiley, like he's the weatherman of the family. Well,
He is a weatherman.
He's a weatherman.
Yeah, straight up.
and I haven't got an alert from him about any tornadoes or nothing dangerous. So we're
He'd
good.
be the first one to let us know
Yeah.
for sure.
So the other week, him and Brian Branch, they went on a tornado chasing excursion when we had that big hailstorm and all.
Yeah.
Oh, it was pretty neat, all the videos.
Well, I want to say something. You need to post those to your Facebook page.
I think he rode with Brian Branch. Brian posts everything.
Oh, okay.
But
Okay.
yeah, it's pretty neat. Like I know one of the videos of them, I think Brad Panovich put it up on his site, and it's pretty neat. Sitting in the hailstorm and
I like
King's Mountain.
that. I follow that Brad Panovich.
Yeah.
He's usually dead on, ain't he?
yeah,
he's
very
a good one.
very good.
All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all tuning in. I'm headed out on vacation in the morning. Brian will be hanging around doing some different things, probably some family time now.
Oh yeah.
And then next Tuesday's his 50th, so be sure to get everybody. What? 46. I'm sorry, 46. We'll try to be back in the studio next
I
week
still
with a
think
special
you
show.
look older than me though.
I mean, I don't doubt that. I definitely got a lot more white. Do you dye your beard?
No,
You really don't? You don't dye your hair or nothing?
no. See,
You have any gray?
no, very little. See, I don't have much gray, but it's all going away. Look at that.
You have a receding hairline.
I got a receding hairline, something ferocious.
Well, as long as you still got hair.
I mean,
be
it's
all
still a
right.
little bit there.
I got plenty of hair. It's just different colors. It's a lot of white. A lot of white. God, I swear I just saw a cow fly by.
I
Y'all
seen
see
it.
that?
I did not. I seen it call.
Getting nasty out there. All
It
right.
is.
Well, let's sign us out, Brian, and we'll see them next Tuesday.
Guys, thank you for watching. We're going to be back next Tuesday. There better be cake, Matt. And remember, if we can't go fishing, what are we going to do?
Sit right here and talk fishing.
Thank you.